Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worthy Worth It and Priceless. I am your host, Tammy Simmons. I have just got to get into it. The title will be on the cover because I just want to get into it. So, yesterday was my birthday, and it was a lot. A lot of things happened, especially with my daughter. But one of the things that happened yesterday was she had a loose tooth, and I'm trying to help her get this tooth out. Like for the last 2 days, at that time, it was like for the last 2 days, I was trying to help her get this tooth out. And we're wiggling it and doing all this stuff. And like as I'm helping her, it's like I'm kind of like flinching and stuff because it's getting to like that last bit, right? And so next thing I know, my daughter starts easing me out of the bathroom. And she's like, "Mom, breathe. Breathe, mom." And then she's like, "Mom, pray to God. Pray to God." And she's basically pushing me out of the bathroom, right? And so then the next thing I know, she and so I'm praying to God. I'm following instructions. And so the next thing I know, she says, "Mom, pray to God. Pray to God." And then she closes the door. And next thing I know, she pulls out the tooth. And this isn't like the first time she's done this. She's done it like other times, and I'm trying to help her. And next thing I know, she goes into another room, and then the tooth is magically out of her mouth. And the thing about it is, it comes down to a point that when you're going through and something has to come out of you, sometimes God will have you be away from other people. You don't always need people around because they can be a distraction. Now, it was a couple of times in the process, I was like, you know what, we can just do it tomorrow or whatever. But think about it. The tooth that was hurting her was in her mouth. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a tooth or whatever. She was saying that, "Mom, my tooth hurts." And so I'm trying to take it out. But like I said, it just felt like it really wasn't coming out. So I'm like, well, maybe we could wait. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But the thing about it is, like I said, it was affecting her. And sometimes when things are happening in your life, you don't need someone like maybe that I had represented it in that moment. It wasn't affecting me that her tooth was hurting. It was affecting her. It was affecting her sleep and how she ate and things like that. And that is the same thing in our lives. We're trying to get things, together and all this other stuff, and we need to basically do the work. But there's people around us and they're like, "No, we can just do that tomorrow. That's not a big deal or nothing," but it's affecting us. It's affecting the way we sleep. It's affecting the way that we eat. And there's certain things that just needs to be done. And so even in the Bible, you see Jesus went away from people when he healed the girl in the room. Everybody else had to go out. He only had a few people in there because people are laughing while he's trying to heal this girl. Like, no, he's saying that she's asleep. Everybody else is saying that she passed away. Like, hold on. You know what I mean? And so you don't need everybody around for those miracles and things like that. Sometimes we think that we always need other people's acceptance, their validation, all those things. You don't. There's coming up a time where you just need you and God. That faith of a mustard seed. You don't need everybody else's opinion for what God has told you. We've often talk about Moses. That I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 155 years or so. It may have been more than that. That he built the ark. Imagine they haven't even seen, like people haven't even seen rain in their lifetime. And you're building an ark and you're saying God is going to allow it to rain. And people are laughing at you and stuff like that. Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And you have to keep going. Even if you are the only person that believes, you have to keep going if you are the only person that has faith. That is what faith is. Things are not seen, and you have to believe this. You have to believe the promises of God. You have to believe those things. And sometimes you have to push people out. But my daughter knew enough to not just say, Mom, breathe, but she also said, Mom, pray to God. And so that is what I'm leaving with you guys. Don't just have everybody leave the room, but make sure that you're inviting God in that room. Make sure that you're praying to God and you're using that time with God wisely. Because whatever is coming, you need instructions about how to get it done. Because that was one of the things I was praying, like, God, please. I see that we got the little last piece, Lord, please let us do it the right way. And he allowed it to happen. And I didn't even have to be a part of the process physically. I just was on the outside making sure that God was in the room with my daughter. So, with that being said, make sure that even if you don't invite other people in, that you invite God in. Invite him in. Let him fill that room. Let him give you the instructions. Open up your heart to hear, even if it doesn't make sense. He knows the will for your life. All you have to do is believe and do the work. With that being said, always know that you have worth and you have value. You are always worthy, worth it, and priceless.